Hey, dog sport handlers. Welcome to the Canine Handler Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Liz Joyce, your go-to expert for all things dog sport fitness. Whether you're running agility, doing protection work, tackling search and rescue, handling a tough tugger, or just looking to build strength for a lifetime of adventures with your dog, remember, you are half the team, and I'm here to help you stay strong, mobile, and injury-free. Join me as I break down the unique demands of handler fitness, speed, strength, endurance, and everything you need to perform at your best, both in and out of the ring. Let's stay strong, stay in the game, and keep doing what we love. Let's dive in. Hey friends, and welcome back to the Canine Handler Fitness Podcast. I am your host, Liz Joyce, and today we're talking about something that is near and dear to my heart because every time the weather turns hot, I start getting the same messages from students, friends, fellow dog handlers, and my own brain. And it sounds something like, I feel awful and this heat is killing me, or I can't focus in this, or I'm trying to trial or train, but I feel like a literal melted popsicle. But I think my beloved dog, Levi, sums this whole situation up very effectively. This dog in any kind of heat becomes a literal wilted flower. Like if it's over 13 degrees Celsius, this dog wants short exercise sessions. He wants cool water. Ice is better than not. He wants to be in the shade, and it's quite challenging for him. And quite frankly, I think it's challenging for a lot of us too. He just basically wants to opt out of life, and it's kind of tragic and hilarious, but I think he kind of sums up how a lot of us feel when it starts getting hot, because the truth is, a lot of us really aren't that different than he is. Especially when you think about long outdoor training days or summer trials, the heat can just really wipe people out physically, mentally, emotionally, and is quite a drag. So today we're going to be talking about why the heat hits us harder, especially as we get older, which is fun. This is the things we heard about from our older friends that we thought, oh, this isn't going to happen to us, and it is. So this is great. Also, how to fuel your body so you feel better and not bloated. And I've got 8 strategies to stay cool, sharp, and so you can actually enjoy your time outside without dragging through the day like a zombie in a sun hat. Although we are here for those sun hats, so you keep bringing those on out. All right, let's get going. The first thing we're going to be talking about is why the heat feels harder. And it is not just you. Wow, it is, because it does get harder to tolerate heat as we get older. And here's why. Our sweat response becomes less efficient, so your body doesn't cool itself as quickly. You may also feel thirst less intensely, which means that dehydration can sneak up on you. If you don't know this about me, I have a severe case of Crohn's disease and actually had to have my large intestine fully removed. Your body takes 20 to 30% of its fluid uptake from your large intestine. So I get dehydrated on a level that is extreme compared to the general population. And I'm telling you that dehydration will make you have headaches. It will affect your appetite, like limit your appetite, your energy levels, your overall zest for life, and also can make you feel quite sick and make sleep, challenging. So while I feel these things on a much more intense scale than the general population, that even on a smaller scale, being dehydrated will make you feel like absolute crud. The last thing is that medication, hormones, and slowed circulation can all add up to the sense of like, why do I feel like I'm baking in my own skin? No one likes feeling like that. Plus, then you think about trial days, right? And you're likely moving a lot more than usual. You might be wearing long sleeves or gear because we've all learned about sun safety now. And this is going to shock you, but you might be a little more focused on your dog than yourself. And also, you could be eating whatever's quick and easy, like gas station snacks or burgers at the venue. And all these things stack up. All this means is that we need to get a plan together for you, and that is not just hydration, but to help you stay energized, sharp, and well-fueled. Let's talk about some hydration hacks that actually work. We're going to talk about water. Yes, you need water, but there is more to the story, because hydration isn't just about what you drink. It's about what your body can absorb. And those are very different things. So let's talk about what actually helps. Number one, eating water-rich foods like cucumber, watermelon, oranges, berries, lettuce, grapes. Yeah, they're refreshing and they actually hydrate your body better than chugging water alone. So think about that cooler that you pack or maybe are going to start packing, hint, hint, with sliced vegetables and fruits in things that you enjoy eating. Maybe you want to pack a tzatziki that also is got some protein in it, and that also is a water-rich food. This is why these things are important, because they include electrolytes, fiber, and water in a more absorbable form. Plus, they leave you feeling less bloated than drinking a liter of water at once. Who wants to feel bloated? That is definitely not me. So again, here's the pro tip. Pack a small cooler with chopped fruit or perhaps a smoothie if you like those. It'll cool you down and give you energy without weighing you down. What I like to do in my coolers when I head out is freeze a plastic water bottle with an electrolyte beverage in it. So then I have an ice pack, and then later in the day when I've consumed my fruits and vegetables and whatever it is that I've packed for my food for that day, I've got like this ice cold electrolyte beverage that just always seems to hit the spot in a way that nothing else can. And so if you don't already have a cooler, now would be a good time to hit pause and go get one of those things. Just order that stuff. It will be there in a couple days and it's the best. The number 2 tip, don't skip your protein. Okay? You do not need a huge meal. And sometimes when it's hot, having a large meal is just not going to happen. But getting in some lean protein will help stabilize your blood sugar and keep your energy steady over a long day. The thing that's important about that is heat will make you more tired. So just like when we're heading into a season of life where we know we're going to be sleeping a little bit less, or we have extra stressors coming on that are going to fatigue us or ask more of our spoon pile of that day, the things that are really important is taking control of the other components, making sure we're eating protein, produce, drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, all of these other things that can really contribute to having good energy. Here are some examples. Greek yogurt. You could also choose like a dairy-free version if that's what works for you. Low sugar jerky of some sort. I love those packable things, and that is something you could put on your hit list when you're going to gas stations and picking things up. A protein smoothie. You can make this stuff at home, or again, this is a quick pickup at the gas station on your way to the trial or training session. Hard-boiled eggs. Again, you want to keep those cold, but that frozen electrolyte beverage in your container is a great way to go about doing that. You could also think about getting a protein bar that doesn't taste like regret or sand or sawdust. I mean, you can do you, but there are a lot of good protein bars that are not really high in sugar and can really hit the spot. A lot of people rely on carbs or sugar for quick energy, but you need to remember that that stuff will crash you fast, especially when it's hot. So having protein will help keep you feel alerted, focused, and less cranky, especially if your day starts early and it goes long. Another good pro tip when you're thinking about packing food for a long day is to think about every 2 hours having a snack. And every 2 hours you want to have a hit of protein and some fruits or vegetables and whatever else it is. I'm not advocating for a low carb diet. I just really need you to make sure that you're having protein and some kind of produce. And think about every 2 hours. If you get there at 8 a.m., right, you've had breakfast, you get there at 8 a.m. and you go home at 6, you've got a snack that you need to pack for at 8, 10, 12, 2, 4, and then pick something up on your way home, right? That will help you when you get home not feel this overwhelming, stacked up urge to just eat everything you can get your eyes on. We've all been there, and honestly, they're very satisfying meals, but they're not the best long term. The last pro tip is to use electrolytes, but smartly. If you're sweating a lot, plain water might not be enough. So adding a pinch of salt or using a low sugar electrolyte mix will help your body hold onto fluid and also regulate heat. But think about avoiding the ones that are loaded with sugar. You want hydration and not a glucose spike. And there are a number of different rehydration solutions available on the market. A lot of them do have very high levels of sodium, which can be fantastic if you're a heavy sweater. And also some of these electrolytes have like labels on them warning you about overconsumption for a reason. Some of those electrolytes do accumulate in your body and can have effects on your overall system and homeostasis that are not wanted. So just make sure you're picking your electrolyte beverage carefully. And honestly, adding a little bit of salt to a flavored water or something along those lines is a really great way to go about doing that. Now we're going to talk about some strategies to stay cool on your hot trial or training days. And these are my top go-to methods to keep your body and your brain working when it's hot, long, and intense outside. First off, shade is everything. Bringing a pop-up tent, using your car's hatch, staking out a tree. A lot of us have those reflective, like netting. What is that called? Illuminettes. So using those and giving yourself a space where it's not just you, but you're able to cool the ground around where you're sitting will make a massive difference in the heat that you are in and sitting in during the day. So anything to avoid direct sun in between your runs. And also, if it's available, bringing a fan or a battery pack, not just for your dog, but also for you. Because remember, we always want to take care of these gorgeous little furry creatures and forget all about ourselves, but bringing something for yourself is huge. The second tip is cooling your pulse points. This is another thing that you can pack in your cooler. So applying cold packs or a soaked bandana or an extra t-shirt or a towel, wetting it and then wrapping it around your frozen ice pack and then pulling it off a couple minutes later will make that just so chilly and amazing. If you apply it to your neck, wrists, behind your knees, these spots can help lower your core temperature fast. I also will often wet a towel, wring it out so it's damp, and then freeze it the night before, kind of in the shape that I want to drape it around so I can wear this frozen cape like a boss. And that might be something you want to do too. And we might see each other at a trial wearing this same style. Wouldn't that be fun? The next tip is to be thinking about wearing the right clothes. Loose, light-colored, breathable fabrics. It's a bonus if it has a built-in SPF. Black is not your friend. It's not the time to be looking like a ninja. So think about flowy, kind of loose fabric. You know, there's this brand called Halara that has fantastic gear that's loose, and they've got is much more affordable than Lululemon or any of those more expensive athleisure brands. And they just have so much variety with high waists or whatever it is that you're into that make for really excellent agility gear. So check that brand out. I'll be not sponsored, but you might really enjoy their stuff. The next thing I want you to think about is adjusting your effort and not your standards. So know that your body will work harder in heat. You are adding a stressor. The heat is adding a stressor. So you want to think about reducing your intensity slightly, especially when you're warming up or cooling down. So I don't want you thinking about adjusting your intensity when you're actually in your run, but your warm-ups and cool downs are going to need less effort from you. Your body's also already pretty warm. So think about this as not being lazy. It's about pacing yourself in an intelligent way. We're smart people around here. Let's bring this into taking care of our bodies too. The next thing to think about is eating small and fueling often. So big meals in the heat equals bloating, sluggishness, and maybe feeling like you kind of regret everything. No one needs a food coma and a heat coma going on at the same time. Think about snacking on light and balanced foods throughout the day instead. Things like fruit, protein bites, maybe a wrap that's cut into smaller pieces. And like I was saying earlier, think ahead through your day and plan. It just takes 5 minutes to think about how many snacks am I going to need if I'm having a small bite to eat every 2 hours or every 3 hours. 2 hours is better, so you can have smaller meals then too. But if I'm going to be there from 8 a.m. till 6 p.m., I've got like 5 snacks I need to pack, and I need to think about my pro foods, my protein, and my produce. Here's my next hot tip. And if you love your hairstyle, you might not love this tip, but here's the tip. Soaking your hat and not just your shirt. So a lot of people love to get their shirt wet or just spray or put a little bit of water on their top when they are really hot out. Your head radiates heat. Wetting your head, your hat, or your hair can cool you really fast. And if you're just wetting your hat, maybe you got your hair in a pony or a braid or whatever it is, you can do that without actually getting your whole body wet or soaking your gear or having that whole wet t-shirt, the pseudo wet t-shirt contest look going on. So it can be a little bit more discreet that way, and also really effective in cooling your body down. This is my favorite. Okay, cool foot soaks. Oh my gosh. So this is like instant relief. If you keep a shallow container of some sort in your car or vehicle, and after your runs, you take your feet off and you take your shoes and socks off and put your feet in this cool water, it will bring your temperature down so fast. And when we are not always, so think about the stressors in your day and the stressors that make physical exertion more challenging for you. Heat is just going to add. So we know about stress buckets for our dogs, right? So think about your stress bucket for your own energy, and heat being a massive brick that you put in the bucket that just makes your ability to take other things that would maybe add fatigue to your body just so much higher. So cooling your body through soaking your feet just real quick can be amazing. I just had this vision of walking around an agility trial in the summer with everyone with wet hats and our feet in some cool water, and it just is a vibe. All right, here are the wrap-ups and takeaways. Okay, heat does not have to wreck your trial day or your focus, energy, and performance. And if you're someone who doesn't love being in the heat, this is not about toughing it out. This is about being smart in your strategy so you and your dog can show up at your best. And also so you can go home and still feel pretty good. These are the recaps. I want you to think about hydrating with water and fluid-rich foods. A lot of times when I work with people that have a really hard time getting enough hydration in their day, I suggest that they look at wet foods. What kinds of wet foods can they add to their day? In the winter, that would look like soups. In the summer, that would look like yogurts or milk with like a protein shake sort of thing, or a gazpacho, something like that. If you're having a hard time drinking the fluid, think about eating the fluid, okay? Also, regular doses of protein to help support having steady energy. Staying cool. So try not to get to your max heat where you feel all messed up, but staying cool through shade, wetting your gear, and also kind of pacing yourself through the day. I also really, really, really encourage you to fuel in smart and small amounts. And don't forget about electrolytes. And we were talking earlier about adding a pinch of salt to some water, some flavored water. You can also just add a pinch of salt to your food, guys. It tastes great. It works great. I do it all the time. And I also understand that if Levi is still flopped dramatically on the cool floor and you probably want to join him at the end of the day, don't forget about my fabulous cool water on my towel, wearing it like a cape. It's the best. I also want to leave you with one of my favorite quotes from James Clear. He's the author of Atomic Habits, and who hasn't heard of James Clear? If you haven't, you need to look this guy up. Okay, this is the quote. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Say it one more time. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. This whole podcast is about prepping, thinking about things that you need ahead of time, making a go bag, planning ahead so you've got frozen electrolytes in plastic bottles so you can keep your food cool, stop at the gas station, have a plan in place for when you go there if you didn't have a chance to pack food. What are your go-to things there? Jerkies, protein shakes. They usually will have some kind of fruit of some sort, maybe hard-boiled eggs, but think about something there that have a plan in place before you get there and you're hungry and you're stressed. In hot water, your system matters more than it does when it's cooler out. So make sure that you are building one that supports you and your dog when the pressure and the temperature is high. Thanks for listening today. Your time and energy matter, and I'm grateful you spent a bit of both here. If this episode helped you feel more capable, focused, or maybe just reminded you that you're not alone on this journey, I'd love for you to share it. Leave a review, tag me on social, or send it to a friend who needs a boost. And if you're ready to keep building the kind of strength that shows up on and off the field, you'll find programs, tools, and support waiting for you over at caninehandlerfitness.com. Until next time, train hard, lead with purpose, and take care of the athlete that you are too.